So what advice would you have for those of us who are parents who have kids like you, who like to play video games, and I've got a daughter that exact same thing. She's someday this is what I want to do. What would be some of the things that she should be doing now as a freshman in high school?
Well, I guess either like if they want to do video games or even in the video industry, start kind of like learning what it takes to create that kind of work. So I mean, I know like there's a lot of schools now that actually show things early on. I think William & Mary has a program that for like learning how to make your own video games. Mm-hmm. So stuff almost like you see like now you can buy those kits that have like engineering kits, but there's a lot of things you can do to get into the video game industry, to start learning how to make video games or how to make animation. A lot of those programs, like entry level, they're almost free for anybody to learn. So if they're interested, that would just push them that way.
Yeah. If you have a customer that wants kind of like an introduction video for like a YouTube channel, like what's the cost associated with that? You said you work with a lot of small businesses. What kind of budget would a small business owner have to work with you? I mean, I'm sure that ESPN, they spend a lot of money on that.
Budget, but sure.
To get something that's visually appealing for.
Well, we just actually a really good answer to give you. Like we just worked with a company called 5 Rings Financial that's here in town. They're national, but they're also small, and they wanted something that they could use not only at their presentations like this, but also for the social media campaign. But they also had a really small, limited budget. So what we did is we have a different kind of like template of work that we can show clients, and they can choose kind of like this. It's kind of like limited amount of like changes, which is that reduce the cost. And also, so something like that, I would say entry level. If you just want like motion graphics, just kind of type in words, it's about $600. Of course, if you need like us to write your script, basically the more we do, the higher the cost. If you can write your own script, then we keep it around like $500–600. Okay. If you need pictures or video, then that adds a cost, unless you give them to us. Okay. So I would say, but that's for about a minute video like that. So that's for like the entry level social media product, Obviously, when we're making stuff from scratch, the price really jumps. Yeah.
Just as an example, I don't know if you can tell us, but the one that you did for the sheep bedding company.
Yeah.
Like, what's the range on that one, or can you tell us?
That's probably around I would say more around like 13,000.
Okay.
13,000, just because it's a length, and it's all 3D animation. Like that character's all 3D, so that costs more. Once you start doing 3D animation versus like flat work, price starts moving too. When it gets really expensive is if you need to shoot. So we need to go out there, shoot stuff, and things like that. Then that really kind of jumps the price more too. Mm-hmm. So.
And just out of curiosity, what kind of software do you use? What is the software that you use?
We use After Effects, Cinema 4D for 3D, and then we have Final Cut for editing, and also Premiere.
So when you begin with a client, what is your primary, what do you find to be most successful, or videos that are most successful? Those that just tell a brief story, those that I noticed on the first one it was very fast and the music was very upbeat, and we were changing constantly and watching, which was very attention getting. And then the second one was more calming, but like I followed the story a little better. Which one is more effective? And I'm sure it depends on the demographics, but which one is more effective, like let's say for a promotional social media campaign video?
Probably the shorter versions are usually the most effective. It's just because I think it's just because the change of culture. Okay. Right now it's like you're really competing with people's attention span.
Right.
So you just need to really kind of get them, keep their attention span for a little bit, and then tell them kind of selling or promoting and everything. It's just like a quick, and almost like 3 things. Get them look like, oh, what is this? This is what we're doing, and then this is what we're selling.
So how do you qualify? When you go in to meet with a client, how does that client articulate that to you? What do you ask that client? How do you get them to come up with that 1-minute video?
Yeah, actually, well, we kind of really talk about kind of what their product or what they really kind of like what they want to show. So he's kind of get an idea from them, and actually, just having experience doing this, we start kind of like formulating what they want to see, and then what we do is we give them like almost like a storyboard, a variety of options, and usually once things are on a page and a drawing, people can really figure out stuff, because a lot of times you give them stuff and they don't like any of it, but they like a piece of that one and a piece of the other one, and then we can combine them to really give them the product they like. The same thing with, and it's also that depends with color theory, composition, all that stuff, because people have different aesthetics, just whoever likes.
Well, when I was in school 50 years ago, we did storyboards on, anybody who laughs fails this. Anyway, we would do storyboards with, hand-drawn storyboards.
Yeah.
But So I'm sure technology is far past me by then, but do we still do thumbnail sketches? Like, you know, are those still part of the process, or is
Yeah,
it more
they
software?
definitely are. I mean, a lot of times, nowadays clients don't like, I think don't wanna see sketch, depending who it is.
Right.
Most people don't wanna see sketches, but like for us, sometimes we just do sketches quick so we can actually make the full story.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
From a marketing standpoint, you've got larger customers, you've got smaller customers. Tell us a little bit about your process and what mechanisms you use to go out and find new customers.
Well, actually, for us, right now, I would say like 90% of our customers are either return business or word of mouth or a referral. So we're very lucky that, you know, I think our product's really strong, so we're able to kind of like self-perpetuate the way we're going. Another thing that I did, like last week, I was in Las Vegas for NAB, which is the biggest National Association of Broadcasters, just to try to meet people and network and get to know like people as such. One thing we're also doing is I'm hoping that this year we can get an AE, an account executive, so they can find new clients and also manage them. So.
I'm sure you've seen huge change over the past decade of going from major networks having huge budgets, and now those budgets are shrinking because marketing money is going to other avenues. So just how have you seen that shift in your industry?
Well, what I've seen, the biggest shift is there's the big money really goes to like the big players. So kind of like the big money's still there, but it really goes to like, you might not heard these companies, but Troika, Prolog, they're companies that make like not just the TV, but also like the beginning of movies. All this stuff, they're huge houses, you know. So the rest are kind of like, so for us, like me, you have to be kind of nimble and be able to do a lot of different things. You have to be able to adapt quickly to the different demands of it.
So I'm come from kind of a visual world, and I know that you're in this world, and you can see the product, and I know that a lot of times when you work with a customer, they're not.
Yeah.
Let's just put that really bluntly. So how do you bridge that gap? Because you can see the finished product, and a lot of people, they don't have, they can sometimes even be colorblind, you know, like they just don't get it.
Right. I guess a lot of it is kind of just doing a lot of iterations of products. You know, a lot of times we kind of, and we also try to steer them the right way, you know, kind of like try to show them a different, like here's what we're thinking. So we try to show them a variety of like our solutions and try to steer them to be like with like, you know, good language and explanations. One thing that you got to be good at is be able to explain what you're showing. And that really helps you kind of sell the product as well. So just kind of say like, this is why this works, this is why it's interesting. So basically it's that way. It's kind of not only show them different variety, also trying to steer them the way we feel that this would help them the most.
Have you ever had a customer that just didn't get it, and you finally did your final project and they were just blown away, so happy, but they couldn't see it all along the way? Are you just patient with that to?
Yeah, actually, I've had not only clients, I've had actually even like art directors that way, which is interesting. That, you know, like I'll show them stuff and it's a rough, and they'll be like, "Why does it look so bad?" And it's like, well, it's just a rough. So it's just kind of also understanding, like client is good sometimes if you keep working with clients like that, because then you know they really don't want to see the work. They want to see almost finished product, or as close as a product it is. So yeah, that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a client; it has to be an art person too, which is really interesting. Just can't see it. Yeah. But yeah, suck it up.
Okay, obviously you don't do all the work yourself.
Right.
You said you have teams that grow and shrink. Where do you find the people for your teams, and how do you collaborate with them?
Majority of the ones are actually, since I've been in the industry for a long time, it's actually people I've worked with in the past, which is really cool. So, which is really nice for me. I can actually say that I have people that work for even major networks now that will on their time freelance for me and make stuff. So that's a majority of people I know. That way I can trust them and know that, you know, I don't have to worry about the product being done. But also once in a while, some people reach out to me, you know, students, younger people who are really hungry. And that for me is probably like the most, the thing that comes out to me more. If you're hungry, even if you're not the best, I like that because I know you're gonna work hard, so.
What's your system for collaboration? I mean, obviously they're not.
We use Basecamp as like a project management tool that we keep all the assets kind of talking around. And then the rest kind of files for Dropbox, and then just kind of make sure that everybody has the same software. Because if people have different software, then that's a problem. Yeah.
Have you ever connected with the Art Institute locally, with their animation department? Do you know that they have a program for animation?
Yeah, actually I did. I went to their graduation,
That's
the
good.
graduation show. I talked to a couple of students. A lot of them are very leaning to video games, but still some of them are very interested in motion graphics. So, you know, I'm trying to see where that goes, because a lot of them don't have like the full skill set. They have some things
Right.
they could do.
Right,
Yep.
just wanna,
Hmm?
good place.
You talked about your story as a child in the video game. When, at the point in which you started looking at doing a business, what was it that got you to doing that, and what were some of the challenges you had to get and find your first clients and setting up your business? And
Well, I guess once I felt that once I had like probably after working for about close to 10 years, I really felt that I could do it kind of like I could do it on my own, because I was able to be a
so
part of
working
like.
for companies for 10 years before
Yeah,
you started your own business.
So I worked like small set. I worked for a company called Imagination. It was an Asian channel that was trying to launch. That didn't kind of fizzled out, but that was like my first like real job out of college. I worked at Fox, then I worked at ESPN, then I worked at Viewpoint Creative, which is a big agency in Boston.